Most people think winning the lottery solves their problems. It doesn't. It trades the problems they know for problems they cannot imagine. This is not about the numbers on the ticket. It is about what the numbers do to you. From finding a $100 bill to holding a check for 100 million. Every level of sudden wealth introduces a problem the level below it could not have conceived. 9 thresholds, 9 versions of your life. Level 1, $100. The microdopamine. At $100, nothing about your baseline life changes. It's a micro spike. Finding a $100 bill in an old coat or getting a minor rebate triggers pure, unearned dopamine. Because it feels like free cash, your default reflex kicks in: consumption. You buy a luxury lunch, pay for a round of drinks, or clear out an impulse item sitting in your online shopping cart. It's completely harmless, but it reveals a fundamental truth. Without a plan, your brain treats unexpected money not as capital to build with, but as permission to consume. Level 2, $1,000, the illusion of safety. At $1,000, you feel a temporary surge of relief. If you've been living close to the edge, $1,000 feels like breathing room. But this level creates a dangerous illusion of safety. Most people immediately use it on delayed gratification, an upgraded phone, paying for a group dinner, or buying a jacket they've been eyeing. Within 30 days, the cash feels abstract. It slips away in tiny, unmemorable transactions. 2 weeks later, a minor car repair hits, and the cash is gone. The rule: $1,000 isn't wealth, it's an emergency shield. Put it in a high-yield account and lock it away to stop minor life inconveniences from turning into high-interest debt. Level 3, $10,000. The first mistake. At $10,000, the money is significant enough to make real moves, but small enough to disappear quickly if unmanaged. This is where most people commit the ultimate first mistake. They tell someone. The moment you mention a $10,000 crypto win, bonus, or inheritance, everyone around you develops an opinion on how to spend it. A friend suggests a trip, a family member mentions a business pitch, or a colleague suggests a hot stock. Without structure, you end up splitting it, paying off a chunk of debt, buying a weekend getaway, and placing a few wild investments. 6 months later, the stocks are down and the liquid cash quieted away into everyday living. The architecture: put the money on freeze for 30 days. Silence is your greatest asset at 5 figures. Level 4, $50,000. The temperature shift. At $50,000, high-interest debt disappears completely. You feel free. But something subtle happens. The temperature in the room shifts. You notice it at dinners or family gatherings. Subtle comments appear. Relatives ask for short-term loans. Friends expect you to pick up the tab more often. Money at this level doesn't break relationships, but it creates a quiet, invisible tension. Financially, people at $50,000 often fall into approximate management, putting some in broad index funds, some in stock picks, and leaving the rest in liquid savings where lifestyle inflation quietly eats it away. Approximate strategy produces average results. This is the level where you must fund your tax-advantaged accounts and build real investment architecture. Level 5, $250,000, the extraction system. Crossing $250,000 brings you to a threshold. This amount can pay off a mortgage or fund a lifetime portfolio base. But the moment you reach this level, an entire financial ecosystem activates to extract it from you. Brokers, sales advisors, and insurance agents pitch complex financial products with hidden fee structures, annuities, active mutual funds, and bundled whole-life products that benefit their commissions far more than your balance. Meanwhile, saying no to a personal loan request from a close relative creates permanent distance. You keep the $250,000, but you lose a seamless connection with someone you love. The defense: ignore commission-based advisors. Work strictly with fee-only fiduciaries and keep your wealth anchored in low-cost index funds. Against personal pressure, keep your capital illiquid and locked away so my money is tied up becomes an objective truth rather than a personal refusal. Level 6, $1 million. From constraint to decision. At $1 million, money stops being a daily constraint and becomes a decision-making tool. You hit nominal millionaire status. But living off a traditional 4% safe withdrawal rate means $40,000 a year before taxes. You are far from rolling in endless cash, but you are protected. The greatest threat at $1 million is not a market crash. It is the single exception. You follow a strict plan for months, and then a close friend or trusted colleague approaches you with a $100,000 guaranteed business opportunity. You make an exception because you trust them. 2 years later, the funds are tied up in litigation. At 7 figures, one personal exception can break years of discipline. To avoid this trap, rely on structure rather than emotional willpower. Write a personal investment policy statement that caps high-risk private deals at 2% of your total net worth, allowing your system, not your sentiment, to enforce the boundaries. Level 7. $5 million. Fully capitalized. At $5 million, survival is solved. Your portfolio quietly generates $200,000 to $300,000 a year, freeing you from physical labor forever. The greatest threat at $5 million is no longer financial, it is existential. When you no longer have to work, you lose the default structure, identity, and ambition that drove your entire adult life. Many hit this level only to fall into aimlessness, isolation, or chasing expensive vanity projects just to feel productive again. To navigate this transition, pivot your focus from accumulating wealth to allocating purpose. Treat your financial baseline as the foundation to build meaningful work, philanthropy, or personal mastery, not an excuse to drift without a compass. Level 8. $25 million. The generational dilemma. At $25 million, money is completely solved. Time becomes your only true constraint. You fly private for efficiency, operate through corporate entities, and own real estate across multiple cities. At this level, your primary dilemma becomes existential and generational. How do you give your children access to everything without removing their necessity to achieve anything? If you give them everything pre-built, you risk creating entitlement without architecture. You spend more time meeting with trust attorneys than investment advisors, trying to engineer incentives that build character rather than dependency. To solve this dilemma, adopt the classic rule. Leave your children enough so they feel they can do anything, but not so much that they can do nothing. Use incentive-matched trusts and conditional distributions that reward earned achievement, turning wealth into a safety net and launching pad rather than a couch. Level 9. $100 million. The Megalith Jackpot. At $100 million, the universe bends. This is the mega lottery win, the founder exit, the nuclear option of sudden wealth. In a single instant, your normal human scale vanishes. You don't buy products anymore. You buy infrastructure, influence, and silence. But as the external noise fades, a heavy psychological silence takes its place. Total human isolation. Every room you walk into changes. Every smile becomes a negotiation. Every old friend subtly transforms into a pitch deck. The world stops interacting with you and begins performing for the number on your balance sheet. The ultimate threat at 9 figures isn't losing the money. It is disappearing inside the fortress you built to protect it. Without a psychological architecture built before the wire hits, $100 million turns into a gilded cage. You hire bodyguards to protect your body, lawyers to protect your assets, and family offices to manage your life, until you wake up one day and realize you are no longer the owner of an empire, but a prisoner of your own windfall. To survive the ultimate jackpot, you must execute a total ego death. You must accept that the money does not belong to you. You are merely a ghost, holding the keys to a runaway engine. Turn the capital outward toward a mission bigger than your own life, because at 9 figures, wealth will either serve a vision or it will devour its driver. The architecture is available. The decision to build it is yours. Subscribe.